Welcome to The Prize Inside, your favorite source for exploring the human potential through the stories of ordinary people achieving the extraordinary. These aren't just people exceeding physical limits. They're doing the impossible, and they aren't done yet. Are you ready to exceed your potential? Then join in now with your hosts, chiropractors Rochelle and Jeremy Myers and massage therapist Bunny.
Welcome, everyone, to The Prize Inside, where we learn about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The Prize Inside is brought to you by MyPeakDirect.com. MyPeakDirect.com is an online store that holistic doctors have deemed the products exceptional. Ever have a difficult time knowing the best supplement to take? Maybe you've heard a suggestion and are not sure what is a good high-quality brand. MyPeakDirect is an online store that not only sells top-quality holistic supplies from top-rated companies, but everything they suggest, holistic doctors have deemed great. MyPeak does not recommend anything that its doctors have not even tried or have not tried firsthand. So check out www.mypeakdirect.com. Dr. Rachel Myers and Amy Segerman offer 4 components to support you as you begin your journey toward lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. Your coach will be with you every step of the way. Studies show that having a support system can help you get better results. It's why each client gets paired with a coach to guide them on the path to optimal health and well-being. Their coaches are there to empower and encourage you in real time. They know the journey you're about to embark on because they themselves have been on that same journey. So call 269-964-1441 and ask for Dr. Rachel or Amy to get started today. All right, welcome everyone to The Prize Inside, where ordinary people do extraordinary things, and we explore that. So today is our weekly podcast on the 33 chiropractic principles. And so this week, it's principle number 10. So before we get going, I love doing a quote. I love quotes in general. So this quote is from M. Tibbins. Probably destroyed that name, but so it says, going inward, that's the real work. The solutions are not outside of us. Get to know who you really are, because as you search for for the hero within, you inevitably become one. So I thought that was pretty cool as we go forward in our next ones. So this is principle number 10 we're going to talk about, and this one is called the function of force. I find this one fascinating. As we go forward, we'll go into those pieces. But the function of force is to unite intelligence and matter. So if you remember, we'll go into that. I'll read the 9 that we've gone over so far. So in each one, the major premise, which is that there's a universal force or universal intelligence that we live within. The chiropractic meaning of life is that expression of intelligence through our matter. So principle 3 is called the union of intelligence and matter. The ability of our innate intelligence to work through our matter in the universe is what gives us life. The triune of life. The triune of life is the 3. It's the 3 united factors: intelligence, force or energy, and matter. And so those 3 coming together, you need all 3 of them to create life. The perfection of the triune. So the perfection of intelligence, energy, and matter, or intelligence, force, and matter. In order to have 100% life, you have to have 100% intelligence and 100% energy and 100% matter. The principle of time. The principle of time is that there's no process that doesn't require time. The amount of intelligence and matter. This is principle 7. The amount of intelligence in matter is 100% all the time, and it always gives what it needs to in its response to the environment or the universal intelligence. Remember, we talked about universal intelligence being our world that we live in, our universe, right? So our universe, and then our innate intelligence is that response to it. And so sometimes, let's say you're sitting, relaxing on a couch, you don't need 100% of your intelligence working perfectly functional to your muscles of your legs. So that is one of those ideas. Principle 8 is the function of intelligence is to create energy. The function of intelligence is to create energy, or the force. And then number 9 is the amount of force created by intelligence. The amount of force created by intelligence is always 100%. So the amount of energy created by this intelligence is always 100%. So now we go back, and I'll reread Principle 10. Principle 10 is the function of the force is to unite the intelligence with the matter. So in a physiological standpoint, one of the best ways to think about this would be the way we eat food, process that food, get a chemical reaction that will create the energy that we need. And think about the process. So when you look at energy, how do you create it? You always have to create from some source, right? So there has to be a source. And so what science has said for many, many years, and it's true, is that we're a bunch of chemical bonds. So we break bonds, and that breaking of bonds in any way. So all these, for my non-scientific people, it's two elements, let's say hydrogen and oxygen, we'll just use that, and then they'll have a connector. I always think in terms of a magnet that has the two sides attracting. That internal piece is there's energy inside there, and so what happens is when you break that, let's say you separate those magnets, in the body, the energy has to flow somewhere. And so that is what we use as energy throughout our body. Very amazing, complex system through every cell in our human body. We are made of little tiny trillions of these little cells that are utilizing energy in all kinds of ways. And what's unique about that is the innate intelligence. There's so much going on below even subconscious level, even at the cellular level, that we need to talk about today, because of the function of energy is to unite intelligence and matter. If we had to coordinate 40 trillion cells in our body, there wouldn't be anything for us. There wouldn't be the earthworm. There wouldn't be the dog that you'll probably hear in a minute. She'll start barking or something, right? So those different pieces, all those muscle systems, all those organs, they all have to work in concert with one another. In a more decentralized, I'd like to say, decentralized environment. What I've learned over my time frame is that chiropractic is amazing because it's about the nervous system communication. When we started in the early time when this writing, we thought, okay, everything comes maybe from the brain, goes down the spinal cord, goes to all these little intricate, the little intricate nerves all over. That's your communication. But then I started understanding what hormones do. Hormones are that same thing, exactly the same thing. We create chemical communications throughout our body faster, more diverse. So we have a few different ways of communicating. So it's kind of like having an email, right? You have an email system, and then you have a phone that you can communicate either direction. Good example, or texting. My kids will make fun of me on that. Me texting probably takes longer than me calling and telling you what I need to do. So I always get caught up in the office. it takes me an hour and a half to text, I swear, because my thumbs or something. But those are two different forms of communication. So think of, and I'm a huge Greg Braden fan. I think he makes you think in levels that you may never. So if you ever pick up one of his books, pick up any of them. But one of the things that he talks about is that we create inventions, innovation that looks like our body, like looks what nature has already created. We kind of do that, and I've alluded to that in different times where we talk about the human body being a computer. A baby, let's say a baby that's first born, when we talk about changing genetics, this baby that comes out of the mother and just born, they have some programming in there. They have some programs. Now, what's your computer look like 10 years down the road? What does your baby look like 10 years down the road? Many more computer programs are added. Life experience starts to add them, but who adds them? That's the question. No one ever answers. And that's the fascination, because that is the connection to me with the spiritual realm, God, us, our true consciousness, and what we've created. So what I mean by that is you can't add a program. If you never touch that computer again, the programs stay the same, right? But as experiences come and now you understand this program and that program, your computer builds and builds and builds this library of programs that it can go to at any time. That's what this baby introducing to the world will get to do. Now, with that comes different energetical forces. So I'll get back to that in a minute, but the energy that unites intelligence and matters is constantly evolving. And one of the things that we always forget about is that, I always hear this a lot, and it's so true. I wish I could say it's not true, folks, but it's so true. Aging is a mindset. It truly is. I've had, through even the pandemic, truly it's an epidemic, but the pandemic, watching a 98-year-old cutting wood, figuring it out, to the 30-year-old glued to the TV, glued to eating very unhealthy, and the different responses to anything in the environment can throw at us. So what I'm trying to get at is our energies, and this energy is so critical for creating the unification of the intelligence and matter. The more intelligent, the more expression of that intelligence that we can show to nature, the better we'll react to that environment. And so when we talk about that in chiropractic, we have, I always say like deductive logic, right? So deductive logic says we're perfect. So that baby comes in, nothing's wrong. We make sure that spine's good. Many parents do that. So we make sure everything's working perfectly. We give organic this, beautiful things this, breastfeed, do all these great things. The reason is because we want 100% intelligence for that child. If we're able to give them the energy sources, which are a lot of times our food, right? Food, sun, movement, the foods that we put in, that gives us our ability to create energy. That energy will help unite intelligence and matter. The amount of stories that I've had in the office over my 21 years on somebody struggling with health conditions. Let's say they've gotten diagnosed with many. They've been down the road of several. People think they're crazy. There's so many different pieces. And to see what happens when their intelligence and matter unify. One of my favorites was this lady that was suffering with it's called polycystic ovary syndrome. PCOS is the abbreviation. So I kind of watched her. She was always a heavier lady, probably 5'3" and 240, somewhere in there, and she'd get adjusted. Not much happening. She's always struggle. Like with chiropractic, she could get adjusted, ask me a few questions, and kind of move on, because doctors had given up on her care because her blood work, and she was on, I think it was 8 different medications. One of the things that occurred was, this has nothing to do with the chiropractic, but it was a mindset change. As she started researching on her own, got kind of sick of the whole system, then she discovered, it was called Picos.com, if I believe so, if anybody suffers with that. Picos.com had this diet that was fascinating, because the diet actually had some things that we would innately think were good for you. They couldn't eat at the time that they were going through their dietary change. So she, on her own journey, took it upon herself, changed all these different things in her diet, and shockingly, I think she lost 100 pounds. She started not having the ovarian cysts give her pains and those kind of things as she went forward. And does that work for everyone? No. But as you see, she started to understand, like we always go through, the 3 T's: the thoughts, the toxins, the trauma. She started understanding that the toxins were getting in the way of her energy store and her intelligence, right? So the way she was eating wasn't giving her the best chance to have your intelligence, your innate intelligence, work at its best. And so that's why chiropractic, why holistic, looks at the whole body. Our spine and nervous system are one of the biggest keys to the entire thing, the entire world, really. Keeping your alignment. But that, to me, the alignment of people is not just the spine and the nervous system and bones. It's about alignment mentally. It's about alignment nutritionally. You realign your diet. Right now, the ad before Dr. Rachel Myers, we have learned how to align our metabolism so we get the best result based on weight, be eating too much, those kind of things. Those are things that allowed our innate intelligence to start living different, to start expressing our matter that we have even better. That is why we're going to see, as our podcast goes, and I'm going to have you meet people that this has actually occurred, that you can change your genes. People, it's crazy. There's a key to everything, and it's the entire thing. It's the entire body. It's the entire mind. It's the entire spirit. All of those things, when we start realigning them and aligning them to, all those different things, it allows this intelligence that's within us to express itself to its full capability. So that is what I got for principle number 10, the function of force. The function of force is to unite intelligence and matter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and watch for this week. I'm going to start posting at the end of each week another episode on just some of the writings I have that my hopes will make it into a book at some point. But I really appreciate you guys' time on this, and check you in the next one.
Don't think for a second that this episode has reached its full potential, because we have plenty more for you on myers-chiropractic.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to the show on your preferred podcast listening service so you don't miss a minute of real stories, real people, and real results. We look forward to exploring the human potential with you next time, right here on The Prize Inside.